Welcome to the Real Estate Pros of Houston podcast, where host Mark Zachary talks to high-producing real estate agents in the Houston area about their story and what makes them so successful. Each episode, our guests will tell you what they're doing that works and what makes them so successful, as well as insights that will help you take your business to the next level. Now, here's Mark delivering a true real estate pro of Houston.
Hey, everybody. Welcome again to our next podcast, Real Estate Pros of Houston. And today we have a special guest, Kimberly Patel. And I believe she's out of the Katy area. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where I met her before. And Kimberly is a very well-respected agent in the Houston area. And so we're going to get her to tell us her story and what makes her different, where she focuses her business, or if she's, goes all over the place. I feel sorry for a lot of these agents when I look at their production and I see the dots of wherever they have to go. And if you're not from Houston and you're listening to this from, I don't know, some smaller town, Houston is a huge place. So if she's going to show a house in Kingwood, and she lives in Katy, that's an all-day event right there. So, Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us. I was super excited that you had accepted the invite to join us. I remember meeting you at a training class. So, thank you so much for being a part of Real Estate Pros of Houston.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Well, so I always like to start off the podcast, and a lot of times I don't get more than a couple of questions into it because this question can take up most of the time. But tell us your story. How long have you been in the Houston area? How long have you been in the real estate business? A little bit about you personally, family. Just tell us your story.
Okay. Well, I actually started working in the mortgage business right after 9/11. So that was
the dark side.
Actually, it was great at the time. I was a mortgage underwriter. I worked probably 70 or 80 hours a week. I did a lot of loans, helped a lot of people purchase their home or refinance. Have a couple of interesting clients. Well, they weren't my clients per se, but borrowers that I worked with. Some football players or, stunt professionals. And so it's kind of interesting. And then you have just the regular old families, buying their first home, people downsizing, things like that. One of my favorite things about getting a new file is I would open it up and see if there was an appraisal there so I could see the photos of the house.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what house they were buying or refinancing. I wanted to see their home. So
I do that all the time.
Yes, I guess that's part of why I transitioned as, into a real estate agent position over the years. But yeah, so that's kind of how I started. I worked in property management in my 20s. So I have a background in that, which is very helpful for my investor and clients that I have now. I'm originally from the Northwest. I've been in Houston, I believe, 16 years now. I don't think that I would ever.
Got here about the same time then.
Yeah, I don't think that I'd ever move. I love living here. Houston's probably one of my favorite places in the U.S. and I've traveled quite a bit. So,
when me and my wife got married, we said we'd go to Dallas and San Antonio and different places, but we said we would never live in Houston. And I love Houston. There is so much to do, and I agree with you. I don't think I'll ever leave because we enjoy it so much.
Yeah, it's a great place to have a home to live in because, sorry, I'm kind of nervous. So I'm not saying my words very well. You can edit that part out.
You're fine. You are fine. I promise you
I talk all the time. You cannot shut me up. My uncle used to call me Wendy, and I would try to correct him as a child and say, "No, my name is Kim," and he'd say, "No, you're Wendy because you have wind coming out of your mouth all the time." I'm very.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. I like it. I'll have to remember that for somebody that in my family, and I'll probably get slapped for saying
Yeah,
it, but
he was the nicest person and he didn't mean anything by it, but he was a man
yeah,
of few words and I was the opposite.
that's funny. Well, just
Um,
relax.
yes, and I'm
We're
trying to
just
breathe.
getting to
It's a
know
little
you.
hot in here.
So yeah. So you said
Okay.
the Northwest. What part of what does that mean?
Well, I was born and raised outside of Portland, and then I
Okay.
lived in Seattle for 6, 7 years before I came out here. So I I'm a new Texan, I guess you could say, but I love it here. And I think once you've lived here for a little while, then you can be proud of being a Texan, even if you're not originally from here. But
Yeah. So does some of your family and friends that live back that way really think that we all ride horses to work every day?
well, I'm originally from Oregon. So when I would be on the phone for work sometimes with people from New York or, the East Coast, they would ask, do you ride a horse to work? No, I live in the city just like you do.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah,
Yeah.
man, when we moved out to Phoenix for 1 year, I was amazed at the questions that I got when they were asking me about life in Texas. Like it was
Mhm.
a third world country, and we did ride horses, and there were no paved roads. It was all dirt roads. And I mean, it's crazy some of the thought processes that people have
Yeah,
about
just
Texas.
their idea of what they feel like Texas is, but Texas is so big that
Yeah.
you can travel to different parts of Texas and you feel like you're in a different state or a different country. So
Right, right. Well, you got here as fast as you can. You
yeah,
could.
a good
So
quote.
we won't hold that against you. I only lived outside of this state 1 year out of my life. So 54 years I've been right here in Texas. And you got here as fast as you could. And we're glad you did.
Thank you. Happy to
Yeah.
be here.
So tell me about is your family still here or still there, or did you up and leave your family to come to a new area, or what brought you here?
Well, at the time, I was still working for a mortgage company, and they had an opportunity for me to be an account executive out here for wholesale
Oh,
lending.
okay.
So that's part of why I moved out here. But my family is still in Oregon. Most of my relatives live there. I have one sibling, a sister. She moved here a few years ago, and I like to say that I'm responsible for it. But she met a very nice man and is now married. So
Oh,
he's
she's
her
not
home
going
too.
anywhere then.
She's not going anywhere. And, it was obviously me that brought them together. So I take credit for that.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. You're a great realtor for the area, and I heard there was something like 50,000 agents between Conroe and Galveston. And what we're trying to do on this podcast is just expose people to some of the best in the business, people that are full time. They do this as their career, they're not a part time agent. And you don't have to worry about with Kimberly getting off at 5 and on another job and returning your calls and emails starting at 5:30 or 6 when she gets home from her regular job. This is a career for you. Is that right, Kimberly?
Right. Yes. And whenever I start working with a new client, I always let them know I work 7 days a week. I'm always available. If I'm obviously can't answer the phone, I always text them right away to let them know I'll be calling them back. I'm pretty much on my phone from 7 in the morning until maybe 9 or 10 at night. And the great thing about that for my clients is that everybody has different schedules. They have different work schedules, lifestyles, they have kids, they have to wait until they get to bed before they can make phone calls or whatever the case is. And sometimes we're negotiating and there's, a deadline and we're, on the phone late trying to figure things out. So it's definitely a full-time career for me. Not just that, it's also a passion. I know my coworkers and agents that I work with tell me that they can see this is not just a job or a paycheck for me. I take everything that I do personally. I do the best job that I can for my clients. Everybody's needs are different. You have people that are buying their first home and they're really nervous and they don't know anything. And I can walk them step by step because I know the loan process, the searching for homes, finding a home, making an offer, negotiating, repairs, and getting to the closing table. And then afterward, I'm still there to help. Um, I get phone calls and text messages all the time from previous clients. Hey, I got this weird piece of mail. Can you help me with is this? Or, my payment just went up. Can you tell me why? And these are things that I do help with. These are things that I don't get paid for. But this is what my clients never forget me, and they always bring their family, friends, neighbors, coworkers to me. I've done multiple transactions for the same client. I think I had 4 transactions in 1 calendar year with one family alone. Just
Really?
in life, yes. I have investors that I work with from out of state. I've helped people purchase homes sight unseen from out of the country, out of the state. So I've kind of had in my, about 4 years of being a real estate agent, I've had almost every situation you could possibly think of. But every transaction you learn from, and you're even a little bit better for the next client afterward.
Yeah, and I think so many people, so many of the 50,000 of you agents and us as loan officers as well, you don't have that. They're so transactional focused that they lose the fact that someone's going to need you again if you just stay in touch and you do a good job. So as soon as it closes, they're off chasing the next deal, and they don't answer questions like you do about the payment going up and or whatever. My taxes have gone up. What's causing that? And so kudos to you for doing that. Do you have a certain plan that you or strategy that you implement to stay in touch with your past clients?
Well, because I am busy, I don't have a schedule that I follow. If I happen to be driving through a neighborhood, I'll think of, oh, I want to check on them and see how they're doing. And I'll shoot them a text and I'll say, hey, I was driving by your street. Just checking on you, how you're doing. I like to try to do pop buys and bring little gifts and things like that.
Mhm.
I have some really great clients that just had a baby and I brought a gift over to them yesterday. Um, I, I'm I'm on the go all the time. So thank goodness for my cell phone.
Yeah.
I can
God,
do
what we do without those?
I don't know. I can do almost anything from my cell phone except for the contract. That's the only thing that I cannot do from my cell phone, work related.
Well,
But
just wait. I'm sure you'll be able to before long.
yeah, and the thing too, and what you were talking about, some agents being very transactional. I am not a salesperson. I don't have a background in sales. I'm not selling anyone anything. I'm not trying to find a buyer to sell a house so that I can get a paycheck. The reason that I'm in this profession is because I want to help people. And to me, your home is one of the most important things in your life, besides your family, your health, and all of that kind of stuff. But having a home and the pride of home ownership, investing, all kinds of things and people sometimes they are in situations where they don't want to sell, but they have to, you know,
Mhm.
um, divorces, people losing family members, things like that. So every situation and every client is a different. I handle it in a different way. I'm very good with being able to change myself into who I need to be and what I need to do to help that person. I have clients that are engineers or lawyers, and they don't need me to explain to them what a purchase contract says. Then I have people that
They
need
just
me.
need to they just need you to give them extra time to read through it all, right?
Exactly right. They're going to take care of that themselves. But I have,
Yeah.
some clients, they have questions about everything, and because I've been through the process so many times in so many different transactions as a listing agent and a buyer's agent, that I know both sides of the transaction and I can help negotiate. That's one thing, is that I'm not a tough business person, but when it comes to my clients and being able to save them a little bit of money or a lot of money, I'm a pretty tough negotiator.
Yeah.
I'm very skilled at being able to word things in a way that it makes the job for the other agent easier. For example, I might have a client who's purchasing a home and we get the inspection report back. And obviously, being a professional, somebody that has a lot of transactions, that understands what are we asking for and why. Well, I don't like this about the house. Okay, but we knew this about the house when we made our offer. This is not
Right.
something we can negotiate now, right? But they'll tell me, okay, well, this is something that we want to fix. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is use things in the inspection report that I know are going to be easy for the listing agent to be able to tell their seller that this is a important need. And that's how we're going to get the money so that you can fix the things that you wanted to fix. There's a lot of strategy involved. When I type an offer, when I do negotiating, when I come up with a price that I think that we should offer on a home. Being a mortgage underwriter previously, I'm very, very good at running comps. I can almost always tell you what a house is going to sell for. I mean, pretty darn close.
Yeah, man,
I'm a numbers person.
what an asset to have as an agent.
It happens. I've had clients too, they'll say, okay, I tell them, if you really want the house, this is what we should offer. If you want to just try and see if we get it, then this is what we should offer. And then they'll say, okay, let's just try and see. And then, a month later, I'll pull it up and I'll send it to them. Okay, see, I was right. This is what it sold for. It's not to prove that, I'm right and they're wrong, but just so that people have more confidence in my ability. I feel like I'm at the point now in my career that very little intimidates me. Sometimes clients or listing agents or the buyer's agents can try to be a little bit I'm trying to think of the right word for it. I don't want to say aggressive, but maybe serious.
Bullish, maybe.
Well, a little bullish, yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm friendly and fun to work with, but I'm also very, very good at my job, and I'm able to balance that in a personality that appeals to most people. I think, most of my clients end up being my friends. I've come to baby showers and weddings, 4th of July picnics, and all kinds of stuff. So that's one thing that makes me different, I think, than other agents. I've had some agents that I've met and say, well, it's 6 o'clock, my phone's off for the night. Okay, well, how are we going to negotiate this? And what do your clients think about that? So that's just, I guess, a little bit about me. I think you can probably tell by the way I talk about it, I'm very passionate about my job. And mostly it's because I really care about my clients.
Well, when I started thinking about doing this podcast, that was one of the keys was, find people that are passionate about what they do and people that will serve their clients like nobody else. And so, I mean, you wouldn't be on here if we didn't know that you have a great reputation in the area. And so, I always say this business ought to get easier the longer we're in it, because we do build the rapport with our clients. And then if we stay in touch with them, they're going to refer people. I mean, these stats show it. They will refer up to 3 and 4 people in the first year if you take care of them, and then those 3 or 4 would refer 3 or 4 again. So all of these people that you're taking care of, they are put into your database, and we have a system that we use, and it's the ABC 123, and that's done on Wednesdays. And so week 1 of the year we call A's and B's. Week 2 of the year, the C's and D's. And so if you use that system, you've been able to touch base with your database 4 times. And that doesn't even include the birthday stuff and the pop buys and the anniversaries and things that you have already mentioned that you already go do. And so, I mean, how can they forget about you if you do all that stuff?
Yeah. And that's one thing too. I feel like being a resource for information. I know I don't know everything, but I know a lot enough that I know if I'm going to be able to tell somebody an accurate answer, or if it's something that I need to find for them or a resource for them. So, when I have the people that are calling and saying my payment went up, okay, well, there's only 2 reasons why: your taxes or your insurance went up. Why don't you call, an insurance agent and see if there's a way that you can get your policy lower, that kind of stuff. So I'm obviously not doing everything for them, but I feel like when you purchase a home, sometimes you don't know where to go to. I have somebody for everything. I have somebody call, I've got a plumbing leak. Okay, I have 3 plumbers that are great. I'm going to give you their information. Looking for homeowners insurance. These are awesome agents that I work with all the time. When you're trying to figure out what home warranty to choose, I know which ones are easier to get claims, approved for than others. Or if there's an issue, maybe I know the rep and I can help, which has happened before too. And those are the kind of things that you don't necessarily get in, a paycheck for. I think a lot of people are a little confused about how real estate agents make their living. I've shown houses for people before, and then at the end of the showing, they'll say, "Oh, thank you for showing me this house. Our agent was at a birthday party." I was like, okay, I don't think you don't understand. This is not, I don't get paid by the hour. I don't get paid to come drive across
Yeah.
town to show you a house because your agent was at a birthday party. I mean,
Right.
I of course understand that people don't understand this, very well the way that we do because we're in the business. But I think that always having a good attitude about something, even if it ends up not, even if it wastes my time, doesn't make me money, sometimes those things still lead to business. I've
Yeah.
had early in my real estate license career, I had a very sweet single mom who wanted to rent a home, and her credit score was very, very difficult to get into a place, but we did it. She was reasonable with her requests. We found a home that she liked. We had to submit several applications, but we got her approved. She just texted me last week and said she's ready to buy a house. I mean,
Isn't that nice? That
I went
that
above and
gotta that's
beyond.
gotta make you feel great.
I went above and beyond because I, understand her situation. I wanted to help her. Most agents would say, hey, you're not going to be able to rent a house, not with that credit score. But I did take the time to help her, and I got paid a very small check for that. But I was very happy. When you help someone who really needs it, their appreciation and their feelings and all of that kind of stuff, their excitement, that's what makes you happy as a real estate agent, at least for me. I mean, I can make a big check or a tiny check, and I still treat those clients the same way. With every bit of attention, attention to details, whatever questions they have, all of that kind of stuff. So
Well, you never know when that small loan or that rental is going to refer a $500,000 deal to you. So,
things like
I
that
mean,
happen.
yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, we do the same thing. It's like, it's 125,000. It's not that big of a deal, but 5 years down the road, their career has taken off. Maybe they buy a 250 or 300, 400, whatever it may be. But if you treated them poorly the first go around, they're sure not going to use you the next go around. So let me ask you this: what are three non-negotiables in your business or personal life? Three things that have to get done in order for you to excel in what you do, either personal or professional setting.
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I have any non-negotiables. I just have a can-do attitude. The thing is, with things in, my personal life, work, friends, family, all of that kind of stuff, if something needs to be done, I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. That's kind of a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, it is.
I have a client that and we've done a couple of transactions together, sold a couple of houses, purchased a home. He called me and told me that his stepfather, was about to lose his home. It was about to go up an auction in 7 days, and asked me what I could do to help. I did not get paid for this, but I helped them do the steps to get it off the auction list and so that they can keep their home. I have references for attorneys and tax professionals and all kinds of things like that, investors, whatever it is. I was not going to tell him that's not my job. I was not going to tell
Right.
him, no, I don't get paid for that. I did
Right.
everything that I could to help them. And this is something that they appreciate very much. I've gotten a couple of phone calls and text messages from the family members and, and all that kind of stuff. But I guess for me, there's no no. If somebody says, I want to rent a house, I'm going to try to figure out how to help them do it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's so important because you have so many people that are not from Texas, so they don't know the laws of Texas and how you can protect your homestead. So, man, if you're not, helping your clients protect their homestead, you're missing out on a big opportunity to tighten that relationship that you do have.
and sometimes people have questions that are to me, very simple because I deal with it every single day, but to them, it's
Mhm.
very confusing. And so when you take the time to help them with those things, they appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
Well, that's definitely a non-negotiable. I do what it takes to get things done.
yes,
And
if something has to be done, I'm going to figure out a way to do it.
yeah, well, that's great. I don't know if you have two more, but that's a good one right there.
I don't
Uh,
know. I guess
What about prospecting? Is that a non-negotiable that's got to be done this today or this week or on a particular day, where you're making active phone calls to prospects to let them know what you do for them?
That's
Do you
a
do that?
very good question, and I think a lot of real estate agents probably do that, but I'm not a salesperson. I
Yeah.
don't I don't solicit business in a way that it's different. I'm not saying that I don't keep in touch with my client base or people that I've met,
Hmm.
who are potential, clients, but I don't actively advertise or anything like that. I
You mean
think
you don't go to big sales events that are training events that says, "Hey, Kimberly, you have to overcome 5 objections before you accept the no." God, that drives me crazy. I
I
am not that way either.
I'm not a salesperson. I know I've said this several times, but it's true. And when I get my phone rings and then I have somebody who's on the phone trying to convince me of something, I'm a salesperson. Just leave me alone. Like your tactics aren't going to work on me. I'm not a used car
Yeah.
salesman. I don't use those kind of tactics. I don't use those. I'm not saying that having sales skills is a bad thing. It's just not my personal strength, and I don't need it in my business. Because I become a trusted family member to most of my clients. First thing something happens, call Kimberly. I don't have to try to sell them on myself. And then for prospecting, honestly, my phone rings almost every day with someone who wants to do some kind of a transaction, who we've I've helped them purchase a home, and now they're interested to find out how much it's worth, and maybe they want to sell and buy something else.
Mhm.
They have questions about the market. They have questions about how it can help a family member of theirs if they're in a tough situation like the one that just happened. um, but I think the way that I meet most of my clients, if it's not from a direct referral or a past client, is open houses.
Okay.
um, I love doing open houses, firstly, because I like to meet people. So being at an open house and having people walk in and have them, oh, look at this, look at the kitchen. Oh, honey, look at this bathtub. I like that. Or for people to see the potential of a home. Sometimes it's, some cosmetic issues, and I can kind of guide them through the home and say, can you just imagine if you painted this gray? Or if
Mhm.
you put new countertops in? They're like, yeah, that I can see that. All of that process is really fun to me.
Yeah.
I enjoy the whole process, helping people get pre-approved. I obviously am not a loan officer, but the loan officers that I work with, we work together sometimes on strategizing on how somebody can get approved or what type of mortgage program might work best for them, because
Right.
I am the one that's talking to these people. I'm the one who they're telling me, I just finished college. I've been a teacher for 6 months. I had a girl, she came into an open house and told me, I can't buy right now. And I said, okay, no worries. Just come take a look around the house. Let me know if you have any questions. Then we start talking, and I found out it's because she went into a retail bank and they told her she had to have a 2-year work history. And I said, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I was a mortgage underwriter, she was going to wait another 18 months to try to purchase a home. And I
Oh
got
my
her pre
gosh.
approved with a lender that afternoon. By next weekend, we were under contract on her first house. And she at the closing table, thank you, Kimberly, so much. I honestly would have not known if you didn't tell me that I could purchase a home. And I know that every real estate agent out there has their own skills and their own benefits of working with them, and why certain clients might want to work with them. But for me, it's the whole process, understanding it from start to finish, and
Mhm.
also being able to talk to them about their loans. Sometimes they're working with a loan officer that I don't know, and they say, Kimberly, can you look at this? Can you look at this disclosure for us? What does this
Mhm.
mean? Because they may not trust the loan officer. It's not anything against them, just like some people don't trust lawyers or real estate agents or, anything. So, me having that kind of background definitely helps my clients. I mean, in
You
multiple
become
ways.
a trusted family member of them for them.
I would say so, yes. And when people
Yeah.
are telling you their personal information because they know that you're not there to judge them, but to help them with their situation, that's
Mhm.
when I know people trust me.
This stuff that people hear on the news and information that you just said, that the retail loan officer saying that you need, 2-year history, and I hear all the time on very popular news financial news network. Yeah, you're required to put 20% down. I
Right.
hear that all the
Yeah.
time. I'm
Yes.
like, you have got to be kidding me. You
Yes.
guys are on TV and you are supposed to be the experts in this field, and they don't know that there are. Well, they do know. I just don't
Yeah.
understand why they say that, because there's at least two programs that require zero down, and the FHA 3.5, and then the reduction of the private mortgage or the mortgage insurance for
Mhm.
FHA is a
Right.
big deal. I
Huge.
mean,
I
they
was very excited.
that dropping those 30 basis points, if you buy a $400,000 house and you get a $386,000 loan because you did put 3.5% down, your payment on that with principal and interest and the mortgage insurance is about $2,700. Now you'll have taxes and insurance on top of that. That's with the old 0.85 factor of point or for the FHA premium for mortgage insurance. Well, the new one would drop your payment to roughly $2,600, and to get the same reduction in payment, that would require a half a point reduction in rate to match what FHA just did. And so that is a big deal. And I'm just shocked at the negative and wrong information that is put out by these big lenders that get all the TV time, and they have all the money to make the commercials and things like that. And you and I have to say, no, that's not entirely accurate. Here's what we can get for you.
Yes, and I've had clients that have paid cash for homes. I've had clients that had really large down payments, and I've had clients that did not really have any money to put down. They don't know about down payment assistance programs and grants. They don't know about seller contributions toward closing costs. I
Right.
just had a couple, just actually on yesterday, close on brand new construction house, VA loan. The builder paid their closing costs, and they got their earnest money back at closing.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
it's
that's
amazing. It
so
really is
there's a lot of
amazing.
ways. There's a lot of ways to become a homeowner. It's just finding the right path. And sometimes people need to know what their options are, and they don't know. They might talk to a loan officer at a retail bank who gives them the information for retail lending. And then they might talk to a loan officer who doesn't like to do down payment assistance programs. And so he might try to defer them to somebody else, or, kind of tell them that's not really an option.
Mhm.
Because I do know enough, I'm able to kind of give somebody options. And that is sort of the first step in the front line when you're meeting a homeowner or potential homeowner, somebody who wants to purchase a home, but they don't know if they can. You need to talk to somebody that can tell you, okay, these are the ways that we can make it happen. If you can't buy a house today, maybe you'd be able to in 6 months. Let's put a plan together.
Right.
Um, People need help with this stuff. It is very complicated. They don't, when you first go to purchase a home, most people do not understand how many people are involved in that process
Yeah.
between between the seller of the home, their agent, your buyer's agent, your loan officer, their processor, the mortgage underwriter, the insurance agent who's going to give you the quote, the warranty company that you might end up choosing.
And
I
you're the
mean,
cat herder trying to get all these people wrapped around this closing date.
yeah,
Yeah.
inspectors. I mean, there's the appraiser comes out, appraises the property. I mean, there's so many people, the title company, there's so many people working behind the background on this. And I think sometimes people do not understand how much teamwork and how much energy all of these people have to put together for them to be able to purchase their home.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
knew,
Good
you know,
point.
yeah, I know people don't know
Yeah.
unless they're in
Well,
the business.
so are you doing, do you do videos to put out these information uh, shortages that you feel that people just don't know? And so do you do that, like frequently asked questions, but just do it on video?
That's a very good question. I have talked about doing something like that, and kind of, maybe I think I would like to do that. I work every day and I'm so busy. I don't really have time for it right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a very good friend and client who is a YouTube star here in Houston.
Yeah.
And I've talked to him about this, that I've tried to do some videos, maybe go live on Facebook, that kind of thing. And then I watched it later and I said, oh my gosh, like, why did I, laugh so much? Or why did I use my hands? Or why did I, stumble over my words and all that kind of stuff? Like, oh, I hate the sound of my own voice. It's terrible. And he said he never watches his videos.
That's what I was taught too. Hey, shoot
He
your
edits
video,
them
don't
and
watch
then he
it.
puts them out and lets people say they like them or they don't, because
Yeah.
we're our own biggest critics,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
not,
right.
I'm a humble person. And I definitely know I have faults, and when I see them on camera, that just,
Well,
it
they
just makes
say
me,
that the worst video you do today is better than the video you didn't do yesterday.
that's true. And I
So
could see that over time you would get better at it and be more at ease with it.
yeah.
I one-on-one, me and my clients, I can go through every step. I do have, I don't want to say a spiel, but I have kind of a list of things that I do bring up to people if they've never purchased a home, or even if they have, but it's been a long time.
Mhm.
So I have a home inspector that I work with quite often.
Okay.
And he called me one day and he said, my wife and I want to sell our house and we want to purchase a new home and we want you to help us. I mean, this guy knows hundreds of real estate agents. And when I met with him and his wife, he said the reason why he wanted me to be the one to help them is because when I first of all, I come to my inspections. A lot of real estate agents don't, or,
Mhm.
can't, I guess. And when I do come and I'm there with my client, kind of going over things with them, he said I was just throwing, knowledge bombs out. And he was just very impressed and surprised, first of all, that I took
Yeah.
the time to explain these things to my client, but that I knew these things too. And
Mhm.
like I said, I am not an expert. I'm not an inspector. I'm not a lender. I know enough to know when we need to get a professional opinion, but a lot of the things that we deal with every day are extremely common in,
Yeah.
purchasing or selling a home. And those are things that I do know. Um, so, I have, of course, my trusted people that I call for certain things. I have a couple of escrow officers at title companies that are
Mhm.
on speed dial just in case. Hey, I
Yeah.
have a listing coming up. This is the situation. Is this going to be a problem? What do we need to
Right.
do about this?
Right.
So
Well, what are some challenges that you're having in your business right now?
my biggest challenge is not having an assistant. That is something that I have to change this year. I don't have an assistant to type my contracts or to follow up on things. So I personally am on my phone, on my computer quite
No
often.
wonder you're working 7 days a week,
Yes.
24 hours a day.
But the thing about it is, I want to have the personal touch with my clients. They hired me, they didn't hire my assistant. I have dealt with and worked with a loan officer before, and insurance agent too, where I developed a rapport with that person. I am very picky about who I send my clients to,
Mhm.
only if it was somebody that I would personally use. And I would refer them, and then they would end up talking to their assistant, and they're like, oh, well, that person didn't have time to talk to me. Okay, that's a problem. I
Yeah.
never want my clients to think that I don't have time to talk to them or help them with something.
Okay.
I feel like there are times that I could say, hey, okay, yes, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to have my assistant email it to you. That would be okay. I just don't, I know my clients want me, not, my assistant, whoever that person might be.
Do you feel that you not having an assistant may be holding you back a little bit?
It definitely is in being able to help more people. I am limited
Yeah.
with my time of how many clients I can work with at one, time. And so yes, I definitely feel like that's keeping me at a point where I'm doing very well. Like, I'm happy with my career. I'm very proud of all my accomplishments, but I know that I could do more for myself and for my daughters. I have two daughters. If
Yeah.
I did have an assistant, and sometimes it's, hey, I can't pick you up, from color guard campus. So your best, color guard practice. So your best friend's mom's going to pick you up, and those things do happen. So
Yeah.
I know it would definitely help me a lot if I could have an assistant. The hard part about that is finding somebody that you trust, somebody that knows enough about the business that could actually help you, that you don't have to, hold their hand and train. Um,
Yes.
but that's probably what's been holding me back from getting one. I've kind of talked to a few people about potentially being my assistant, and I work very fast paced, and it's very hard to find someone that works that quickly.
I know. My wife has said the same thing, and then I'm like, well, I'm busy enough, and I really don't have time to train them. And I know, that for if we would we would just train them and take the extra time. Then maybe, in 3 weeks I mean, I think it probably takes them 4 to 6 months to get to a level that they feel comfortable with what their role is. I used to oversee a mortgage operation for a major builder, and we would hire 6 months in advance because we knew that it took them that long to really start feeling comfortable where we didn't have to stay over them the whole time. But man, I don't know about you, but I don't have 6 months to train somebody. But
Right.
sometimes we have to sacrifice and do it, or we're going to burn out. So
Yes,
so
that's
I know I told you 30 minutes would fly. We're at 39 right now. So I have a few more questions that I want to ask you. So what would you do different that if you were to start over, what would you do differently in this business?
in this business. Hmm.
Or has it kind of worked out exactly the way you want, and you're very happy with the way that it's worked out?
I'm very happy with how my real estate career has turned out. I know I'm still young enough that I have many more years in this business. One of I would say a mentor of mine is in mid 70s and still actively doing real estate. I
Mhm.
probably won't be doing that then. I hopefully will have grandchildren I'll be doting over at that point. But I think everyone's career journey doesn't matter what type of job you do, or if you're a teacher, or whatever your position is,
Mhm.
your journey is kind of your own. Mine's started, I guess, a long time ago in property management, then in the mortgage business, and now this. I feel like it's kind of all of those things. And me personally owning, leasing out homes. I've owned homes that I was, a landlord for, sold my own home. So knowing kind of all of those experiences together has brought me to where I'm at right now in my career. I don't think I would change anything in the journey, but everyone's personalities are different. For me,
Mhm.
I want to be sure that I'm going to do a good job for somebody. So it might have taken me a little bit longer to kind of get started. I worked with a lot of rental clients in the beginning, which was great because it helped me be able to talk to people and show them homes and figure out how to open lock boxes, which can be very challenging, by the way. It sounds like an easy task, but sometimes opening a lockbox can be a whole challenge. Um,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I kind of maybe started a little bit slower than some people would if you're not. I guess I don't want to use the word nervous because I was never nervous, but I felt like I had to prove to myself that I was good at the job before I could do a good job for other people and to sell
Yeah.
myself that way. So I kind of took a little time developing that, which maybe I could have done a little bit quicker. But
Okay.
some agents jump in and before you know it, they've got a closing in 30 days. Sometimes it takes an agent 6 months to a year before they close their first deal. I wasn't, any of those extremes, but I guess
Mhm.
that's kind of, I guess one thing, if somebody is interested in getting to a position, some kind of industry, whether it's real estate or whatever it is, I think that you should find someone who can kind of be a mentor for you. I was very lucky in the beginning of my career to have a mentor that was really there to hold my hand and answer my questions. And when I personally got stressed out and freaked out about things, was there to calm me down. This happens in transactions all the time. It's nothing to worry about. We just got to work through it. We're
Yeah.
not doing, heart surgery, or, we're not shooting people up into space like NASA. We're just we're just helping them find a home, with this, financial transaction, all of that kind of stuff. And I know every agent is going to feel this way, but the more deals that you do, the more transactions you work through, the more people you meet, the more stories that you hear of people, their family, their lives, lifestyles, and all that kind of stuff. It just makes you a better listener and a
Mhm.
better helper as a real estate
Yeah.
agent.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears on you. What is something that you wanted to do personally that you haven't done yet, but it's always been in the back of your mind? Hey, I want to get that done before I turn a certain age or before this or that. What is something that you really would love to get done that you haven't done yet?
Well, I always told myself when I turned 40 that I was going to go skydiving, and I have not done that yet. So that's
Okay.
kind of one of them. But to be honest, I don't really, it's not something that is, I would be unhappy if I never do it. It was just kind of one of those things. It's like your bucket list item, I guess. But for me, traveling, I love to travel. I've been to quite a few countries, Egypt, Jordan, Amsterdam, Paris, France, the Bahamas, Aruba, all over Mexico, Puerto Rico. I mean, I can't think of all the places. Costa Rica. I've been a lot of places, and that's one thing I'd like to do again is travel.
Wow.
I think it's, for me, I enjoy meeting people and kind of seeing how our lives are different. I mean, my life is different than my neighbor's life. They're from Turkey. They are family. They have a very close-knit family. They make, home cooked meals every night. I am not that way, and my life is not like that right now. But when you're meeting people from other countries and different parts of the world, it really opens your eyes to how different life can be.
Yeah.
So,
One of my favorite shows that was only on for a couple of seasons because these guys were getting so old, but and I can't remember the exact name of it, but it like Never Too Late or something like that. It was with Henry Winkler, George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw, and some other guy that they would go away and just live in a culture for a month or 6 weeks at a time and just really dive into the culture of wherever they were, and they went all over the world. And I thought, man, that is so cool to watch. I mean, I got to see the culture through their eyes, but it was such a great show. But I guess they were all at an age where they couldn't continue to do that for very long. So
well,
all right, so go ahead.
one of the things about traveling like that too is that when you're they can have preconceived notions about Americans or whatever, but when you are interested in somebody's culture and their life, almost every place that I've ever traveled, they were very welcoming and wanted, if I wanted to know something, they would tell me, oh yes, this is where I work, this is how we make our food, this is, my home. This has been our family home for 100 years. And, so it's really, I feel like people with, different backgrounds and other cultures, if you have interest in their culture, then almost everybody wants to share it with you, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think that this is probably a different podcast, but I think that the stuff that you see on the news and on the internet and things like that is such they portray a certain culture in a negative way. And I think if you do what you just said, if you just go over there and inquire about why do you do the things you do and why do you do it the way you do it, then they're very open to share. Hey, we're not what you're seeing on the news every
And I
day.
think we're proving that to them also.
Yes,
We're
right,
not snobby rich Americans who come in and just buy things and,
right,
put on the
right.
plate.
Man, great interview. This has been great. I've got this is my lightning round. I love to do this. So this is a lightning round, very quick. We're at 47 minutes. This has been awesome, and I would love to have you back if you want to come back.
Yeah, sure. If you think that there's
Okay.
something else I could tell you.
Oh yeah. Well, we can always update people on the business. So, but here's the lightning round. Favorite author or speaker?
Hmm. I love how this is a lightning round and have to think about the answer. To be honest, I don't know if I have a favorite. That's probably not a good question for me, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. Favorite? Well, this is going to be tough for you. Favorite vacation spot
Ooh, favorite vacation spot would definitely be at the beach.
at the
I
beach.
love the water. I love the water. If I want to go on vacation and relax, it's going to be near the water.
Okay, and I'm assuming that's not on the Galveston beach. It's probably somewhere in the Grand Caymans.
Hey, actually, my daughters love going to Galveston, and people like
Yeah,
to, talk crap about Galveston, but we have had plenty of times where we had a lot of fun. I
yeah,
love
it
that
is a
we
lot of
can
fun.
pack a picnic, get in the car, leave the house at 9:30, go down, spend the day, and drive back the same
And come
night.
back.
And
Oh,
yes,
we've done that many times. That's
yes,
what's so great about being in the Houston area. You're so close to the beach. So,
yes.
okay, favorite pastime or hobby?
I'm a very logical person. I'm kind of business minded. I'm not very artistic, but when I was in high school, I had to choose a senior project. And I was very lucky. I decided I was going to make myself do something out of my comfort zone. So I decided I was going to learn to paint. So
To
I,
paint, really?
an art teacher at my school knew of a local artist who did watercolor
Uh-huh.
paintings, and I went to her house every day after school for probably 3 months and learned how to paint. And if I had time, then I would probably want to paint some more.
My daughter is an artist. She teaches artist in schools, and so it's she loves to do that, and that is a talent for sure.
Well, that's the fun
Okay,
part too, is, you could have three people painting the same picture and they all come out different.
you
It
got
shows
that
your
right.
personality. Yes.
Yep, that's right. Okay, favorite movie.
Big Lebowski.
Oh my gosh, you're my favorite person ever. I love that show.
Oh my gosh. The
You're
first time I
entering a
watched it,
world of pain, Donnie.
oh my
Oh
gosh, the
my
first time
gosh.
I watched it, I thought, what in the world did I just watch? Then I ended up watching it a second time, and now it's my favorite movie, and I've probably seen it 40 or 50 times.
Oh, yeah, about every, I don't know, quarter, I will get that movie out and watch it, and the girls and my wife are like, "Oh God, not again." Sorry,
Well,
I
there's
need to
little
reconnect with the dude.
Yes, there's little nuances in the movie that you kind of catch, the next time you watch it, and little things that you've forgotten about, because there's so much that happens in the movie. It's hard to keep up
Yeah,
with the whole thing. You kind of catch more of one character's story, the second time you
right.
watch it, or the third time you watch it. So
Oh, that's such a good movie. Okay, the last one, favorite sports team. Are you
Hmm.
a college girl or a pro girl?
Well, I would say pro. I'm not a huge sports fan, but I do love sporting events, especially when it's live, or if it's a Super Bowl and you get to go to a bar and watch with a glass of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm from the Northwest. We did not have an NFL team growing up, so the Seahawks were kind of my team. I
Hmm.
still get a little bit of crap talked to me from some of my friends whenever I wear my Seahawks stuff. Um, but yeah, I love basketball. I mean, I think for me, just in general in life, there are so many things that you can enjoy if you just go, experience it. Like,
Get out there and do
maybe
it.
you feel like you don't know or understand football enough, but you go to a game and you feel the excitement and you meet the people around you and you get to eat the snacks and,
Right.
you feel the energy of the stadium. So that's kind of, to me, that's experience of it more of who wins or loses.
Yeah. Man, great interview. I really appreciate you being with us. And if someone wants to reach you, uh, give us the contact information you would want to be out on our social media and the YouTube channel that we're going to put it on. So make sure that you definitely know which phone number to give out or email address. And if anybody wants to maybe be considered an assistant, maybe that would be a good way to get in touch with you as well.
Yeah, definitely. My phone number is 281-690-2617. I'm on Facebook. You can look me up, Kimberly Patel. Love to be a friend. I also have an email address, which, probably isn't super exciting, but if you like to email, homespykimberly@outlook.com. But I
Okay.
do text and phone all day long. So text messages are welcome.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Kimberly, I can't thank you enough for being a part of Real Estate Pros of Texas. I mean, of Houston. Actually, I've done an interview with a lady that does business in Houston and Dallas, so I've kind of got that mixed up. But Real Estate Pros of Houston, and it's easy to see why you're so successful in what you do, and we appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
All right, guys. Well, I will let you go. If you have any financing questions, information is free where I come from, and I am the broker and owner of Next Step Home Loans. So if we can answer any financial questions for you, and we'll be glad to do that. My number is 832-504-9014. 832-504-9014. Until next time, we'll see you from Real Estate Pros of Houston. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and check out our main website at nextstephomeloans.com for more information on mortgage news, loan programs, and getting pre-approved for a home loan or set up a quick home buying consultation. We'll see you next week with another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston.